Welcome to True House Stories. I am Lenny Fontana, coming out of New York City. Each and every week, I scour the earth looking for the best or pull the best out to come back and tell us about their stories. And this man has been current for decades. Current for decades. And I mean this. He's one of the greatest organizers I know in the game of dance music. Coming from the soul scene, from R&B all the way through and bringing house to the masses. Okay? I would like to welcome to True House Stories, Mr. Alex Lowe's from the UK. He's right now currently stuck in the United Kingdom in a good way. Normally he's in Australia, but we found him in the United Kingdom. Welcome, Mr. Alex. How are you, mate? How's everything
going? Good, Lenny. How are you doing? Hello, everybody. Everybody listening. Nice to meet you.
Everybody, they're all coming in with their glasses of wine because it's that time of day. Glasses of wine or beer.
I'm going to Chinese takeaway.
Eating dinner.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we even start the first question, I always ask everybody how they've been making out with COVID and everything, how you've been hanging on and doing, because everybody's been quiet for last year.
Do you know what, Lenny? I've spent a lot of time keeping fit, not quite drinking as much, and getting out in the garden and doing lots of nice things like that. And do you know what? It's been tough for everybody, but you always got to remember that it's some people feeling it real tougher than you are, It's just been a hard year for everybody, but I'm just, digging in deep, keep looking after myself, and you got to, a man of my age.
Push the weights. Anyway, I'm glad you're doing fine, and even though, we've been blessed to create this show, which we started last year, and it's been a forum for people like yourself to tell us the inside track of how things happened. So let's get right into it. Super easy. We'll make this super relaxed. Normally I would say to you get your drink, but he's not drinking, so he's actually going to...
Well, I might be.
He's going to be clear in a minute. We'll see in a second. We'll see. He may have to pour a drink. Anyway, dear Alex Lowe's, the first question I ask everyone, from Dave Morales to Louis Vega, everybody, the same question. How does music find you at a young age? Or how did you find the music?
Well, it's a strange thing. When I left school, my mum and dad moved down to a little place near Manchester called Bolton. And I became, a lot of school friends down there into all this Northern soul music. I'd never heard of it before, but I really grabbed onto it, And there's still a lot of the friends I met back then are still going currently now. And here's an example. When I was 13-year-old in 1970, I bought my first copy of Blues and Soul magazine.
There you go.
51-year-old that magazine, and I've still kept saving them ever since. I've got a few gaps there that need filling. That's the ones where the dog ate it. When you used to get through the letterbox in the old days.
Well, we used to say that about going to school. We'd tell the teacher, I didn't have my homework. The dog ate it. That didn't last.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Wow.
So that was my initial story, soul music. And, became a fanatic, and it lived with me ever since, really. Yeah.
Never left you, did it?
No, never. No.
Did you go to those weekenders in the Northern Soul movement? Were you before you were...
Well, there was clubs called Wiggan Casino. In Bolton, there was a club called the Vava. My favourite club was Blackpool Mecca. The reason I like Blackpool Mecca, Lenny, was because although it was a Northern Soul sort of venue, there's a guy called Colin Curtis who still does a lot of work with Giles Peterson and everybody. And, he pioneered what we called New York disco music at the time. New York Port Authority, and it's like real salsa classics and nuggets, and so that was mixed in with a lot of good, and then became like jazz funk, and it was just a real musical place, Blackpool Mecca. That was one of my favourite places. In the end, I used to take buses down there quite regularly from the northeast of England, where I'm from, Newcastle. Yeah.
Oh wow, you're up from Newcastle area. Okay,
I'm from Newcastle. Yeah.
Okay.
I sometimes live in London. But at the moment, I'm in Newcastle, back in my hometown. It's been good for me doing this thing,
Yeah, I bet. It's actually nice. This whole thing has grounded everyone. Unfortunately and fortunately, I've heard stories where people said, I needed this to kind of reconnect with family.
Yeah.
Or I needed to just stop. and just look at everything and resuss out my life. I've heard this from different interviews.
Yeah, it's good. I just want to get working again, but I'm very confident. I think it's not far off now, Lenny. You know, we're over the hill in more ways than one.
So, if I remember correctly, did you DJ?
Yeah. I used to DJ. Yeah.
Tell us about that, because I know there's a bridge from before you become this big promoter. You got to tell us that story.
I mean, I guess, Lenny, the easy answer to that was when I moved back from Greater Manchester, as I call it now, back into Durham, my hometown. I was so enthusiastic about soul music and everything, but there was nowhere for me to hear it. So I managed to get this little pub in a back room, and I started gathering a few mates and playing records. And the only way to do it was if I DJ'd myself. I couldn't mix, mine. I mean, once that mixing thing became popular, I had to pack it in because I just couldn't do it. It's like, but I like my music, but I just can't mix. So I'm going to be honest with you there.
That's okay.
I also, I worked at a club called Matt Mellon's on a Sunday night, and we used to get over 1,000 people every Sunday. It was a real mixture of jazz, funk, house music. It was like in 1987, when house music started, 86, 87, 88. And from Matt Mellon's, because it was such a powerful club, and we had people coming from Leeds and Manchester, London. We had guest DJs, and Will Downing down there singing, and people like that, and it was just a legendary club on a Sunday night. And after that, we did some bigger gigs, promoted things like Maze, Bill Withers, I put on in a concert tour, and then the Weekenders came from that, from that club, Matt Mellon's. But once I got really busy,
hang on, so. The Weekenders, was that something you came up with, or that was already happening in England?
No, there was Weekenders happening in the UK. There was a Weekender called K-Step. I happened to DJ there a few times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then a friend of mine, Nicky Holloway at the time, worked for Special Brand. Nicky.
Nicky's very good.
I've got a chance at this holiday park up in the north of England. Well, it was Berwick on the Scottish borders. And he says, do you want to do something up north? And I said, yeah, go on then. And it all started from there, really, Lenny. So we did this thing that was originally dedicated to the north of England. It just exploded, become a worldwide event,
Gotcha. Because, Nicky Holloway mentioned in his interview as well, in the beginning, how
I missed that, but Nicky,
how he was one of the first to actually book some of the house DJs for some of those events.
Oh no, Nicky was legendary. He did some great parties, really good parties.
So explain now the DJ. I'm gonna give you kudos, okay, when we say DJ, because David Mancuso at the Loft never mixed. He played one record.
I know that, yeah.
That's okay.
Talking between us.
So let's just say you the same way. You played one record to another, and you had a good time. Did you become known as that DJ that you were able to start pulling the crowd because Alex Lowe's was playing at a spot?
I used to get guest spots all over, Leeds, Manchester, Scotland. Yeah. Not in the same wages as all you guys nowadays, mate, but
But that's what DJing was about in the beginning. It was selection, or it was always selection. If you could be terrible at the transitions. If your selection is killer, you're the man. You know that.
A couple of bacon sandwiches and a couple of pints of beer, I think, was your payment.
Clear everything out. It clears all the mind. Everybody's happy. No problem, right?
That's right.
So you got Nicky around you. You're doing stuff, and as well. So when do you venture out to become the party promoter, say, and start in?
Yeah, well, I mean, really, in 1987, October was the first Weekender. That was in Scotland. And then I got a chance to do a more popular area near Manchester called Blackpool. We did 3 events there, and one at a place called Morecambe, again, Greater Manchester. And it just grew and grew, Lenny. And we ended up at Southport. And we stayed there for a lot of years, hence the name Southport Weekender stuck, until we moved on to a real posh site called Butlins, of which we're going to be coming back after an absence of 6 years next March.
Wow.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I bet. Well, we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, well, the first one was the 20th of March. So
tell us about the first. Okay, so this first Southport, because for some people, let's remember, a lot of people that go to your weekenders are not even as old as when you did the first one. Think about that for a minute.
No, a lot of people weren't born, Lenny, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. What did it take for you to scratch this together? Like, what was involved with getting it to happen?
I'll tell you what it is, Lenny. I was always a great believer in mixing the music up. Much as house music is a huge, huge part of what we do. And you got different forms of house music now. In the original, it was just Trax Records house music, wasn't it? You know?
Yes, back in the beginning. Yes.
That was basically house music. You know, if you got a Trax record, it's house music, you know? But now you got soulful house, deep house, it's like all sorts of house. But no, I always believed in covering from the soul side of things, the disco side of things, the jazz, the funk side of things. And I always I like to run events where you got 3-4 stages or 3-4 rooms, 5 rooms, 6 rooms, and try and cater for as much music as we can. And I think that's where the Southport Weekender became a little bit different to the other weekenders. The other weekenders were probably more specialist in jazz funk at the time than house, but we really branched out with people, you know, would mix it up in one room. You'd have Paul Oakenfold, who was playing hip hop at the time, or you'd have Giles Peterson, you know Questlove or whatever, you know. It's all about the music for me and catering for people and giving everybody a real musical experience. And that's what Southport's all about, really, you know.
You as a promoter, have you ever told a DJ what you expected from them?
No. A DJ is, you know, once the DJ is on that stage, I believe it's his stage, you know. And I think, you know, you can't employ somebody and then start saying do this, do that, you know. I mean, I'd like, you know, we take a lot of time curating stuff and trying to make sure the flow's right and all that. And we spend hours doing this, Lenny, you know.
That's hours.
Yeah, whenever you put a program together, days, you know. Yeah.
I bet you weeks with starting, you know.
Well, when you're programming it, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about programming 6 stages of music.
At least, yeah.
Like 6 stages. What I mean, you know, most people don't understand what that is. What that kind of, you know, putting it all together and making sure everything flows, because you have to deliver, especially when you're charging a good wage to get in.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to deliver. I mean, what's your motto? Because I know you look around you and I know you see what everybody else is doing. What made Southport Weekender, or should I say an Alex Lowe's event?
No pressure.
Here we go. Ready? I'm pointing at you. An Alex Lowe's event more important or more special than the other ones around? Because we all talked about how great Southport is. Every DJ I speak to says the same thing. God, I would love to play for Southport.
You know what? It's a combination of things, Lenny. It's about quality first and foremost. It's about the people. It's about value for money. You know, people, like you say, you know, we you know, you pay good money for something, and they deserve to get the best that we can possibly give. I'd like to hope over the 40-odd years I've been promoting that we've managed to do that along the line, you know, and still we'll keep doing it. But I really, really believe in value for money and quality, you know, and just trying to mix it up a bit and variation and, you know, tweaking it here and there, you know, without going too bang in, you know, and jumping on the latest craze, but you still got to put stuff in there. And
right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, you got to embrace stuff, you know, but you know, don't let it take over. Just
that's a good point. Now, here's a question. Do you believe in the fad changes when other musics come in and trying to implement them, or staying on the track that has made you who you are?
I think you should always keep an open mind, ladies, to music, because music's a personal thing. You know, it's not what you know, and I think you just got to remember, you know, just you might not like a track and I might not like a track, but other people do, you know. And that's what's the beauty of music, isn't it? It's a personal thing. And we just got to get out there and try and, from our side of music, I mean, we've got to create the best we can, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, people don't understand. They think they go there, it just happens, it's magic. It's just like all of a sudden everybody's like, yay, it's great. What kind
of planning process? It's, you know what it is? Once you get to a big event, Lenny, it's like And once them wheels start turning, like a big ship, you can't stop it. It takes a while to stop. Once that ship starts sailing, it's a very hard job to stop it, you know. And you just hope it keeps on track throughout that event, you know.
Well, let's throw it like this. Okay, so here we go. If it was a Titanic, you had the guy at night looking at the big iceberg coming. Okay, and he starts
with the Titanic, yes,
and he's trying to turn the boat. That's what it's like, right? When you're in the middle of this, basically,
you're just going to hope that iceberg doesn't come. It has done on a few events, thankfully, not too many.
Can you tell us how some of the events have went where you've had like serious issues, things that happened, you know, as a promoter? And now I'm talking about DJs, just things that maybe you didn't plan, or you know, weather changing. Was there any events that were basically flooded out? You know, because we know.
I remember one of the weekenders is we had that volcano blew up on the Thursday in Iceland, and everybody's coming in from the States. And then everybody managed to get in for the weekend, and it started again on the Monday. So I think we're a little bit lucky there. Oh, we've had electric cuts as well, power cuts. We managed to blow a local power station up once. It's like, oh, but you just get. I tell you what, I've always had a lot of good people around me, Lenny, working with me. You know, Dave Gardner, bless his soul, who's no longer with us. You know, he was with me for the best part of 25 years. I've got Nick Connolly now, he's brilliant.
One second, brother. Just turn your camera a little bit because you're like in and out. People going, I can't see his handsome face. There we go. There you go. Okay. So, Nick Connolly. Yes, you've had Nick Connolly.
Dave Gardner, who's passed away, sadly, a few years ago. Yeah, people like John Gregory, who runs a team. Colin Williams does some excellent photography for us, of course. Like there's no tomorrow. Siobhan, Stevie. Yeah, I've got the security teams have always been brilliant. And, you know, everybody chips in. I think everybody likes to wear that badge and helps out. And I think, you know, if you love that badge, like a football team, and that's important, you know. It's a team thing, you know. It's not all about me. It's about the people around us, you know. And that's important.
No. Now this brings me to another point. I remember when I heard maybe 10, I don't know how long ago this was, that you were going to retire the Southport. I don't mean to make you laugh, but there was a moment I heard you mention it, or I thought I read this a while back.
No, we did stop the weekenders, and I wasn't going to retire because what we did was start doing Croatia Sunsea Beat. The weekenders, you know, it just sort of ran its course for a while, but we realised after a number of years and a lot of requests, and an opportunity came along to do it again. Sadly, it was going to be 2020. It sold out in no time, and now it's going to be 2022. So, yeah, I mean, but we've never actually stopped doing gigs. We just felt the weekend needed a rest. And the response to the one in 2022 has been phenomenal, you know. It's been really amazing. And I don't know the exact numbers, but, you know, that's in Bognor Regis on the south coast of England in a beautiful site called Butlins. It really is. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a 6-year break, and I think we're all looking forward to it and, you know, embracing the next generation of music, next generation of people, as well as, you know, the stalwarts like ourselves, you know.
What makes you say to yourself, we have to pause it? What was the factor for you? You know,
just a gut feeling, you know, and I just I don't know. You go by your gut with these things, Lenny. Sometimes you just got to use your instinct, you know. It's not always easy. So, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that pause has been unloosed again, so we're back on it. And like I say, we never stopped doing events.
Oh, no, we know that. No, we never thought we know you never stopped, because Sunsea Beat, that's the next question I was going to have is, how did Sunsea Beat, what was the mindset? Because there was nobody out in Croatia before.
Right. Okay.
So what made this all of a sudden transpire?
My production manager, Jerry Calderhead, he did all the production for Southport. Sadly, again, passed away a few years ago. But he was in partnership with some friends of ours in Croatia who were running a little festival called the Garden Festival. A lot different to us, but, you know, I sort of fancied it change. And they said, do you want to come over to Croatia? Went over to Croatia, had a look at it. It was just beautiful. I thought, yeah, let's do this, you know. And it's been a great event, you know. And 10 weeks today, Sunsea Beat's on again. So I'm feeling confident, you know.
You should.
So
and that's why this is here.
The right way, so that's right. We'll get it on somehow. Hopefully.
Yeah.
It's safe, you know.
You're going to have dinner with the Prime Minister to explain to him the situation that you need this to go forward?
Boris, he's on the phone. I'll get him on the phone now. Good old Boris. He'll get us out of it.
Okay, so how do you deal with running an operation like this and COVID hits you? This is, like all of us, we went into pause mode. What, did you have things lined up and everything had to go stop? Like, explain what that was like.
Lenny, we had the best part of 6,000 people coming to Bognor Regis on the 20th of March, 2020, the first weekend of the lockdown. 6 days before, there was a huge race called the Cheltenham Festival that was on. There was a big football match in Liverpool just 7 days before, and that was full house, 50,000. And with 3 days to go, when all the trucks are loaded, all the flights are booked, every single thing sorted out, we had to cancel it. It was the worst nightmare I've ever had in my life. Because also, people knew what was going on with coronavirus and what was going on. But of course, we were fully contracted up and everything was like, we couldn't get out of it, Nobody knew what this thing was or the devastation it was going to cause, Everybody sort of saw it in Europe, but in the UK, it was only just starting then. And it's not something I want to talk about. But you know what? There's a lot worse things in life. We just got to, make things people safe. And that's,
But what I think, I'll tell you, I think what threw all of you off. Because America kept saying, well, not all the Americans, but from the high house kept saying it's a hoax, it's not happening, it's not real. And I don't want to say the man's name, but everybody knows who this was. And usually England follows America. If America is not really taking it seriously, I know you guys are pretty much the same way. They're like, it ain't happening yet. Like, you don't see it around you,
I looked at it into politics. It's not my thing, but it's... I just think nobody knew what it was. I don't think anybody expected the devastation that we were going to get it. If anybody's honest with it, just listen. It's getting better. Things are moving, and I think we're going to look for brighter times ahead, and they're not too far away. I feel,
No, it's not far away at all.
No, things are getting better.
Yeah, well, everybody's being vaccinated on this side of the world. Vaccinations. I think we got 110 million people vaccinated already.
Wow, that's brilliant. I think it's more, Lenny. I think you might have more.
That's what I checked last time. I mean, for all I know, it could be.
I think you're closer to 200 million, but I don't know.
The way he's rolling it out like it's, come get your free shot. Hurry up. It's like, come line up. Hurry up. Good Lord Almighty. But, can you tell us, I mean, you had Paul Trouble Anderson. May he rest.
Oh, bless Paul. Yeah.
I know you're very good with him. He's played many times for you. Any great memories, like with certain DJs that really stick out that you remember from some of the events?
Oh man, Paul, especially in Croatia, he always had like his Huggy Bear suits on. You remember Huggy Bear,
Yeah,
his big hats and just that massive smile, man, and the love he generated. And he's dancing as well behind the decks. And
great dancer.
He's just great musical choice. Do you know what? It's hard to single out anybody because we've got so many good friends in this business, Louis, Kenny, you, Roger, everybody, Kerry, and all the English guys. We lost Pilasha, poor Phil, that was dreadful, Another legend in the English scene, It's really sad. Really sad. It's, but it's hard to single out anything, really, because it's just one big blur over 40 years, isn't it?
I know. And dancing styles have changed over 40 years.
Mine hasn't.
You still do the same dance?
I still nod my head, yeah.
But you know what? I always have to say to everybody, you always have the best sense of humor. No matter what's going on, no matter how stressed it is, and I've been around you, you seem to always keep your level head on and you laugh with everybody. And that's the key about being a great promoter, is being able to not show.
It's called alcohol, Lenny.
I don't want to say that. I'm trying to give you some credit without the alcohol, but as level-headed as he is, he's still keeping the party going and the place could be burning down, but no worries. He's all good.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, we had a good time in Croatia once, where we had tornadoes one afternoon and a bushfire right next to the site.
What?
We had bushfires on the site. There was planes flying over the stage, dropping water bombs, and every time people were cheering. Oh, yeah. Well, we had tornadoes, and nearly sank the ship. It's like, oh, we've had some good ones, yeah.
See what I'm saying? How did anybody realize it was a tornado, or you would just don't shut the music, just keep going?
Yeah, because it couldn't land for 7 hours. The poor people went on a 3-hour boat trip and they couldn't get it until 7 hours later. Oh, dear. They were very good spirited, the poor people, you know?
I don't know how you do it.
Oh.
I think most people I know would have been flipping out, going nuts. Like,
oh, I do. Don't worry. I flip out. Don't worry. I'll do it behind the scenes. Oh, well, not to worry.
God bless you. You know, you still have a place to find the laugh through this all with everybody we've lost and everybody. You know, there's going to be a lot of new talent coming up too. I mean, that's nothing. Who's queuing you up? You know, because you're busy enough trying to just keep your mind on what's going on. There's other people coming saying, please book me. Yeah, that's a question. That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a hard one at the moment because we've got that many gigs that we've had to postpone, you know, for the time being at least. It's just fitting in who we had, you know, because we just got to get the gigs on, Lenny. That's number one priority, really. But, you know, we'll always look for talent and we'll always look for new talent. We'll always embrace the past. We'll always look at the current. We'll always look at the future, you know. It's important.
For a new DJ coming up, is it most important about their musical style or their following for you? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, musical style, totally. I never, ever, ever say to a DJ, who are you going to bring or how many people are you going to bring or that's just wrong, you know. That's a big no.
A lot of promoters do that now. They expect you to bring, you know, a lot of these younger, you know, let's say 19 to 26-year-old promoters that are in new scene. They're like looking more on bodies than they are on musical selection.
No, I think if you get your musical selection right, the customers will come anyway, you know. I mean, you know, it's just wrong just to book somebody because you can bring 20 people. You know, it's not the way it's done, is it? It's immoral to me, that, you know. I think it's about a musical mix. It's like we keep saying, we do this big old thing and mix it up, you know, and that's what it's about.
But the anniversary that you're talking about, what do you have planned? Like what's some of the surprises, or not even surprises, but what are you thinking about to offer this, you know, on that anniversary?
Well, what do you mean? The restart, you mean? Of the
or the anniversary or the birth of the second time.
Rebirth. Yeah,
that'd be a nice way to put it. The rebirth, yes.
Yeah, the rebirth, let's call it. Look, we've got Kerry Chandler, Louis Vega, Roger Sanchez, Kenny Dope, Joey Negro, sorry, Dave Lee, Dimitri, Moody Man, Giles Peterson, Terry Glenn Underground, Spinner. Then you got, you know, Soul Dynamics, Sadar Bahars, Rich Majinas, at Jazz. You know, then you got like people like the New York Jazz Explosion, as we used to call it, Norman Connors, Ronnie Laws, Rashawn Patterson, Josh Milan Live, Am Fiddler, House Gospel Choir, you know, Julie McKnight as good old Julie. And that's just for the weekend there. And then we've got Sunsea Beat coming up as well. And, we've got people like Black Coffee there. Lot of Lazar Hosh, Natasha Diggs, Lakuti, Kenny Job, David Harness. You know, we've got lots and lots of stuff on the go next few events.
My God, you got a huge those events were events that were already plotted and planned before.
That's right. You know, Session Victim was age. You know, just to show we're looking at different things. We've got Salah Nance in Croatia from Atlanta. You know, so you'll know. Well, he likes the geology. That's, you know, we'll, like I say, mix it up and try to give a real musical mix. That's what we try to do.